Hi, folks, and welcome to Thursday, May 27 edition of Money and Politics. And it's good to be back. And who knew? How many? Five. 5 up days, 5 green days for Humbl. And that is nice to see. It's there you go. Look at that. So this is a 1-month chart, but we go back to last Thursday, 1 week ago, and we are at 76 cents. Today we're at $1.37, up another 14%, which means that since the stock was 76 cents, we are up 60 cents in the last 5 trading days, which is a 79% move. And while that doesn't make us whole, because we're down a lot more since some of these wonderful highs that we had back in February, and when we were at $3.82 back on March 24, just a short 2 months ago, wouldn't it be nice to be back there? And back then we thought we were down, and we were compared to February. The February was an artificial high, but it's certainly good to get back up. And I believe I said when we were down at about 76 cents that that was an artificial low. And the other thing that maybe we can think about to make ourselves even happier is just think of these people who were shorting the stock a week ago and were shorting it at 76 cents. They're probably wearing asbestos mitts now because they got burned, and they got burned hard. So that hopefully brings a bit of a smile to you. The markets overall were kind of mixed. The NASDAQ was down a bit. The Dow was up, but not significantly, about 0.4%. And the S&P 500 was also up, but only marginally. So I think the news is on the markets that we're just kind of in a trading range for right now. I think in February, and again, as I've said before, we had so many stocks that were really high, and in early February where they were setting their highs, that we were, overbought then. I think we had a period where we've been down, not just in Humbl again, but just overall. And that is what has brought a lot of stocks down. So maybe that puts it into some context that, it wasn't just Humbl, which is what we were saying all along. But the bottom line is I am not calling victory. I'm just saying that what I said yesterday, when a stock can go down rapidly, and it can go up rapidly. And when you're down in the dumps, and maybe the best thing I can bring to you, which hopefully I have brought to you, is that, let me get rid of that, is to give you some perspective, to give you some context. And when I'm saying that, and we go down for, months at a time, it sounds, I know, like I'm probably making excuses for Humbl, and that's not my point. My point was always to just say markets go up, markets go down, and you got to know, which I've said often, and this is true, you got to know the story, and is the story sound, and do we have reason to believe in Humbl's story? And I would say we have reason to be excited about the Humbl story. And we see that there have been movements. We've seen there have been developments. We just had Brian Foote mention that he's adding new employees. We had him open up the marketplace, which you talked about, the NFT being sold on marketplace. Still a lot of work to be done, still improvements to be made on the app. And to make the peer-to-peer. But, the story remains of the promise of this company, and the story remains that they have to execute. So I know for a lot of you, it's kind of like being in the maternity ward and you're sitting outside the door and you keep waiting, has the baby been born? And that is not a fun experience when you're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting, and you keep being told that you just got to wait some more. You got to be patient. Americans are not patient people. I know we get some viewers from around the world, and I welcome them. But one of the funny lines I heard years ago is Americans are the kind of people that yell at their microwave to hurry up. And that's how we are. We don't like to wait for anything. We want it done, and we want it done now, and we want to make money, and we want to make it now. So that's how we are. There's not a whole lot. FNGU I mentioned, and I bring this chart back up. One, to remind you of FNGU, which is typical or in the same vein as the TQQQ. The TQQQ is a 3 times leverage on the NASDAQ. This is an ETN where it is 10 great stocks. And the point I bring up here on year to date, so starting in January, and you see this chart, we've gone up and down and up and down and up and down. And I will remind you folks that I've told you before where some of those professional advisors will be telling you, Bob and Mary, you don't want to be in that because it's got too much volatility. Volatility can be your friend if you can control your emotions and you buy on the dips. And especially now, you know, there's more reason to be concerned about one company. Humbl is one company. But when you're buying like FNGU or the TQQ or the UPRO, and you're buying a market basket of stocks, you can rest assured that those companies are not going to be remaining down. And FNGU, if I can bring this down into, get myself out of the way, if I can bring this down to where you can remind you on the top holdings that look at the list of these companies, and they're very big companies. They're not going to be going broke here. You know, you got NVIDIA, Netflix, Facebook, Baidu, Apple, Amazon, Google. So the 2 points I would make here are look at the volatility. And again, I'm giving you context that when we focus so much on Humbl, that it ain't just Humbl that's been struggling. And what I would say is you want to be diversified. Something like FNGU, and you look at the price, it's just under $29. That's not too expensive. You can buy these now with the discount brokers, and you're not even paying a commission. So, you know, if you're even a young man who's out pushing a lawnmower, and you're making $25 a lawn or $30 a lawn, go out and buy one share and build up your share price over time. Because, I mean, look where you are. And this is the kind of thing that over time, and let's go to a one-year chart, you know, you went from it being down at, what is that, $8.55 last June to 28. So that's 3 times, 3.5 times up. So that's like if you invested $25, it'd be worth $75 or so now, or higher. I'm a little tired. Anyway, folks, that's what I'm saying. So no big news really right now, more to share. What I would ask you to do, let me bring myself, get out of here and go boom. What I would ask you to do is follow me on Twitter, make your comments on our, subscribe to YouTube, and if, I presume you're watching, so if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please do, and send me an email to moneyandpoliticsnow@gmail.com. After Labor Day, and that's obviously this weekend, I'm going to have a bit more time on my hands, and so I'll be able to take a look at other stocks, So what I would ask you to do is make a comment. Why don't you say, besides Humbl, my other favorite stock is X. Tell me what your favorite stock is. You can send me an email or make it on YouTube. I think I'd prefer email if you want to do that, but you can do what you want. And I'll take a look. And then why don't we say, on a scale of 1 to 5, how committed are you? If 1 is I am totally committed to this stock, then give it a 1 rating. If you're like, I think it's okay, but it's high risk and I'm not so sure, give it a 5. And if you're somewhere in between, give it somewhere in between. But I'd like to know, how committed are you to the stock you're promoting? And if you want, I might say, well, Betty from Poughkeepsie tells me that she's pushing FNGU, or Bob from Seattle is pushing, McDonald's. It doesn't have to be some company we've never heard of before. But I think what I'd like to do is let's start having a sharing of the Humbl community about some of our other interesting stocks, because there are other interesting stocks out there. And by the way, when I mentioned FNGU, that also came to me, as I've mentioned before. That was brought to my attention, by one of our followers in Humbl Nation, and I thought that was a pretty good one. We also, I think someone brought to me the WRAP, which is we've talked about that, a non-lethal tool for police. So 5 days, folks. 5 days. Hopefully we stretch this out even more. Hopefully we have a lot more green days. We're going to have red days in there, but it's fun to squeeze the shorts. And this is why, as I say, because we can come back. When you're down, you're not down for the count. You don't lose money unless you sell out when you shouldn't be selling out. So hang in there and learn not to panic. And in the meantime, we're going to say goodbye for now. I have to get some things done. I actually have an old high school friend coming in for some reason. What did I do here? There we go. Okay. I have a high school friend stopping by yet this evening. So what we will do is take a look at your stocks. We can talk about different stocks. And I want to change the feeling. I want this to be more of a sharing of our stocks over time as we move into the summer. So go ahead and leave that, and we'll build on it, okay? In the meantime, folks, take care. If we don't talk tomorrow, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you later.